The old coffee shop receipt that changed everything. It was a freezing Tuesday night in Chicago, and Marcus was sitting alone in a quiet, dimly lit diner, staring down at his last $20. He had just been laid off from his job at the garage, and honestly, he was terrified. He ordered a simple cup of black coffee, mostly just to stay out of the biting wind for a few extra minutes. Across the room, an elderly woman in a faded red coat was struggling to count her loose change for a bowl of warm soup. The waitress behind the counter looked exhausted, but she shook her head gently and whispered, "Don't worry about it tonight, sweetheart. It is on the house." Marcus watched as the old woman's eyes welled up with tears. She took her bowl, sat down in a booth by the window, and quietly began to eat. 10 minutes later, Marcus walked up to the register. He handed the waitress his very last $20 bill and said, "Please, use this to pay for her next few meals." The waitress smiled softly, took the bill, and slipped a tiny, folded piece of paper into his hand before he walked out the door. When Marcus stepped into the cold night air, he opened the paper under a flickering street lamp. It was not a receipt. It was a handwritten note that read, "I saw what you just did for Mrs. Gable. My father owns the auto repair shop down on 5th Street, and he desperately needs an honest mechanic with a good heart. Call him tomorrow at 8 in the morning." Marcus stood there in the snow, holding the note tightly against his chest, realizing that sometimes when you feel like you are losing everything, the universe is actually preparing to give you exactly what you need.